everybody, it's the Warhipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial, and today we are painting the brand new Captain with Jump Pack. Yes, here he is in all his jumpy glory. Yes, it's a lovely miniature, I really like this guy. We're going to be painting him up as a Blood Angel, but we're going to be painting him up slightly differently. We're going to be doing a gold Captain, because I think this is just a cool thing to do with the Jump Pack Captains. And I really want to do something a little bit different rather than kind of do the bright red. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by taking some thinned down Retributor Armour. And we're going to start applying this over the top of all of his armour, excluding his shoulders. I'm just going to get this on like this. And we'll apply this over the top of the Jump Pack as well. It just gives, it's kind of like reminiscent of Captain Tycho in many ways. Like I said, it's an alternative build, or rather paint job, but I think it's going to look really cool. We'll also just avoid this knee pad here. Kind of making it up as I go along. The best way to paint. I've just realised, 2 minutes in, I haven't said he's been primed in grace here. And of course, he was sent to me early by Games Workshop to build up and paint for all of you. I'm hoping by the end of this video, you'll be convinced to paint your Jump Pack Blood Angels Captains in bright gold. So with all that Retributor Armour applied, what we're now going to do is shade it. And the colour we're going to be using to do that is a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Contrast Medium and Fyreslayer Flesh. We're just going to whack this all over to give us this lovely deep shaded metal colour. This is always one of my favourite parts about painting gold. So with that all done, we're not going to finish off the gold just yet. What we are going to do is we're going to colour in some of the other details. So the colour we're going to be using next is Black Legion. We're going to be using this to paint in quite a few. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by painting in the soft details in the joints of the armour, such as this armpit just here. Like so. And we've got the elbow as well. Like that. What we're also going to do is we're going to use this to paint in any leather details. So we've got the belt and we've got another little joint in here. got the pouch on his hip. Pouch? It's a holster. We're going to be using this to paint in the trim on the shoulder pads as well. And we're going to use this to do the outside of his cape. So with that now done, it's time to get some of that red in there, and fittingly, as per usual, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Baal Red and we're going to apply this over the top of the shoulders and the knee, just like this. Now what we're also going to do here is we're going to apply this over the top of the tilting shield, but we're going to do this along half of it. So we're going to make a little line there and a little line just there. And then we're going to connect the two like that. Then we're just going to block in the right hand side. And just whilst we're waiting for all that Baal Red to dry, we're going to take some Sigvald Burgundy and we're going to apply this to the inside of the cloak. And with that done, whilst we're waiting for all of that Sigvald Burgundy to dry, what we're then going to do is take some Skeleton Horde and we're going to apply this over the top of all of the parchment and over the top of the rope. With that Skeleton Horde applied, we're then going to take some Ork Flesh and we're going to apply this over the top of the laurel around his helmet. And we're also going to drop this in top of his eye lenses. With that Ork Flesh applied, we're then going to take some Volupus Pink. I'm going to use this to paint in any wax seals. Like this, and the soft grip on the sword. So with that now done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Apothecary White. I'm going to apply this over the top of the Aquila on his chest, the little kind of laurel on his shin, and over the winged design on the shoulder, as well as over the white half of our tilting plate. So with that Apothecary White applied, what we're now going to do is going to take a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Contrast Medium and Blood Angel's Red. I'm going to use this to shade the red and the burgundy. So I'm just going to start up here on the shoulder. Just like that. I'm going to do the same thing here on the tilting shield. There we go, just absorb that little bit of overspill. And so with that now done, what we can do is we can take some thinned down Castellax Bronze. We can use this to paint in the heat shield and the fuel tank on our hand flamer. So with that done, we're now going to apply our final base coat, which is going to be some thinned down Iron Warriors. I'm going to apply this over the top of all of our remaining details. So with that done, we've just got one shade to add, and that is going to be some Nuln Oil. And we're going to apply this over the top of all of the black, all of the silver, and all of the white, excluding that shield. We don't need to do that. So with that all done, our captain is now what I would call a Warhipster battle ready, and he's looking pretty cool. However, we're not going to leave him there. We're going to take him to the next level. I'm going to do this by adding some layers and some highlights. And the first of these layers is going to once again be some thinned down Retributor Armour. And what we're going to do here is we're just going to start applying this over the top of all the flat areas of the armour to restore that lovely shine, but to retain any of that lovely shading that we've got in the recesses. So we're just looking to avoid any of the shadows, recesses, or places where our Fyreslayer Flesh has really settled. Just like this sort of thing. As you can see, it's already starting to get that lovely mirror sheen. I love painting gold. So with all of that Retributor Armour reapplied, as you can see, we've got a gorgeous shiny captain now. But what we're going to do now is we're going to highlight him. And the colour we're going to use is a roughly 2 parts Stormhost Silver to 1 part Retributor Armour mix. I'm going to use this to highlight all of the gold. Now we're just going to pick out all the edges to really make him pop. With those highlights applied, all of our gold is now finished. It's as simple as that, but it's beautiful and I love it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move on. I'm going to move on to all the white, and the colour we're going to be using to highlight this is some thinned down white scar. It needs to be really bright. Just going to pick out all the edges nice and carefully here. So with that white scar all applied, what we're now going to do is move on to all the black. And the colour we're going to be using to highlight this first is some thinned down Dawnstone. We're going to be doing this across all of the black. So I'm just going to start here on the belt buckle. So with all that Dawnstone applied, we're then going to take some Administratum Grey and we're going to apply this to the sharpest corners and edges in all the black. So with that now done, the black is all finished. So what we're going to do is we're now going to take some Moot Green. And you're going to use this to highlight the laurel. Around the head. With that Moot Green all applied, we're then going to take a tiny amount of Gauss Blaster Green. I'm going to use this to add a little line going across the middle of the eye lenses. Just like that. So with that done, the green is now all finished, so we're now going to take some Screaming Skull. We're going to use this to highlight the rope and parchment. So with that now done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Mephiston Red. And we're going to use this, not to highlight all the red, but we're going to use this to add some highlights to the inside of the cloak. So with that Mephiston Red applied, we're then going to take some Evil Sunz Scarlet. I'm going to use this to highlight all of the red details. So up here. Like that sort of thing. But what we're also going to do here is we're going to use this to add a little spot highlight in our inside of the cloak. So we're just going to come down here, for example, and just towards that tip of that tear, just add a little bit of red, add a little bit towards this corner, like so. Had some going across the middle of this highlight on this fold. And so that Evil Sunz Scarlet applied, we then take a little bit of Fire Dragon Bright and we add this to the corners. On the little tilting plate, and then to the absolute sharpest corner in the cloak. So with that done, our red is now all finished. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some lead belcher and we're going to use this to relayer the sword on the flat of the blade. Like this. I'm going to try something a little bit different here. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this along one half of the sword blade. So like that. And then we're just going to use this around the text. Like that, so you get a very clear distinction between the two halves. And then on the other side, I'm going to do it down the opposite edge. So I'm going to come down here. Like so. And then once again, we use the lead belcher around the inscription. Just like that. So with that done to the sword blade, what we're now going to do is we're going to highlight all of our silver using some thinned down iron breaker. So with all that silver applied, you should have this really cool looking sword. It's nice to experiment every once in a while, isn't it? So what we're going to do now is going to apply some Rune Lord Brass as a highlight to the Castellax Bronze areas. So with that done, our captain is now pretty much finished. There's just a couple of things that we're going to do just to kind of add a little bit of extra je ne sais quoi to him. And the first one is going to be to take some Black Legion, and we're going to use this to add a little teardrop in the middle of his tilting shield. So we're just going to start up here, and we're going to start to draw out the shape. I like to wash the brush every now and then whilst we're doing this. And then once you've got the outline, we then just block it in. So with that done, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some Cygor Brown. I'm going to use this to add some little text over the top of the purity seals. Like that. And what we can also do here on the shoulder, you can write a name of some description. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to write Baal. And so with that done, we're then going to take some Frostheart. I'm going to apply this over the top of the power nodes on the sword. We're going to bring it down the little power line as well. And then we're going to apply the Frostheart on the blade itself, like this, up to around about there. Then we're going to wash the brush. And then we're going to blend it out to give us a nice soft transition between the two. Just give that hint of energy. And we're also going to apply the Frostheart inside the power turbines. So with his base complete in the same style as the rest of my Blood Angels, our jump pack captain is now finished. Ready to pal around with Dante, I guess, in their gold pyjamas. Or to lead some Sanguinary Guard if they ever get a redo, which would be really nice. And I would love that very much. Thank you very much, Games Workshop. Please move that to the top of the list, because that would be sick. But he's a really cool model. I like him a lot. He's cool.
If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so by heading to patreon.com/Warhipster, just like all of these wonderful amazing people have done. And alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button below, exactly like these fabulous folks have done, scrolling up on the screen before you. There are so many of you out there that it really takes my breath away, and I cannot thank you enough for everything you do, as without you I wouldn't be able to keep making these Contrast Plus videos. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.